Welcome back to the MTV Studio. Jay Pendleton here with Dr. Michael Suk. Thanks for stopping with us.
Jay, nice to meet you.
Yeah,
nice
likewise.
to see you, man.
Good to see you again. It was in Miami when we first met. Tell me about your role at the AMA. What's going on there?
Sure. So I've been a trustee of the AMA since 2019. Just finished my term as the chair of the board of trustees, and I'm now the immediate past chair. You know, I've been a member of the AMA since 1990, if you can believe that. And actually, one of the really crazy things is I remember joining the AMA as a medical student because, you know, as a student, you kind of are eager to feel like a doctor. And one of the things that they brought to the table is that I could get JAMA, right, the scientific journal. Now, I didn't know anything, I didn't make any sense of any of the articles that were in there, but I felt like I was actually being a doctor. And then what I quickly found out is that the American Medical Association is really the loudest and the largest and probably the most effective voice for physician interests in America. And so I have some interest in advocacy and things outside of just the practice of medicine. And so it was like a draw for me, and I got involved early. And as a medical student, I've been involved since.
So tell me about that, your interest in advocacy. Because I think one of the speeches you gave at the conference, and we met in Miami, was, you know, helping surgeons, helping doctors, maybe recognize some things that are happening. Whatever you want to share there, I'd love to hear kind of where you take that.
Well, it's interesting. You know, the last couple of decades have been just a tumultuous time for medicine. You know, whether you look at it from the standpoint of finances, you look at the government regulatory changes that are happening. For surgeons, like orthopedic surgeons, you know, reimbursement is being reduced. And I think that the rise of the employment model has really changed the face of the way we practice. Today, some 75% of doctors are in some sort of employed model. It's a lot different than it was just a decade ago, where people were practicing independently and they felt more autonomy. And I think, you know, concomitant with this rise of employment is some higher degrees of burnout, dissatisfaction, and even some elements of unionization that's happening across America. I think that the phenomena are one thing to watch happen. It's another thing to kind of get to the root cause and then see if you can do something about it.
I mean, you're 100% right. Burnout, and even worse, I mean, physician suicide rates, and there's all sorts of things that are downstream of what you're describing, which has been really a shift.
I think that, you know, physicians go into medicine because we have a core mission to try to help people. And when there are elements that start to interfere, or we feel like we don't have the full capacity to help people, that's when things get very stressful. And it gets even more stressful when we don't know what to do about those things. So I'll give you a couple of examples. You know, the administrative work that physicians are facing today, there's more paperwork that they have to do. There's more EMR clicks that they have to do than ever before. And they oftentimes do that after hours, or if they do it, you know, after they've seen their patients. This is not the work that we originally signed up to go to medical school for. I think the other parts of, you know, just general wellness and adding to this concept that we have less autonomy, I think affects us greatly, because we want to always try to do the best thing for our patient, but oftentimes things get in the way that we have no control over.
Yeah, it's well said. What can you share about what you're doing to help physicians with the advocacy and support and kind of some of the things that you're working on?
Well, so on a personal level, I try to engage docs where they are. And so I attend a lot of meetings at their invitation to try to bring a sense of what's happening in the landscape of medicine. The AMA is a powerful advocacy voice, but I think most frontline physicians don't necessarily see it. And so by bringing it to them and making sure they understand that they have a very powerful voice in Washington in advocacy, who are hearing the things about the frontline practice of medicine, I think is very important. You know, the AMA is also very broad in terms of its reach. And so we're also in the middle of lots of discussions around what's happening around vaccines and public health, dismantling of truth and science, and, you know, getting involved in really in a meaningful way to try to impact those things that help keep society healthy. And so being involved and being at the table to have those discussions as we continue to refine and shape the healthcare system.
Well, again, go back to your background. Like, what did you practice? What type of medicine did you practice? Like, I just want to hear more about that.
Yeah, so I have a little bit of an unusual background in the sense that, you know, I have an MD, a JD, an MPH, and an MBA. And many people focus on the series of schools that I've gone to as maybe as someone who's pathologically interested in collecting degrees. But in actuality, what all of those things were designed to do, ultimately, in my mind, were to make me a better doctor and to make me a better physician. And so I practice orthopedic surgery. I specialize in orthopedic trauma. I have been involved in academic institutions, running large groups, as well as running training programs, and overseeing residents for almost all my entire career. But those additional aspects of education, I think, were designed to help me understand the ecosystem better, to have a seat at the table, and speak a language that I think most doctors don't necessarily learn in medical school. And so the good thing about all of it is that it's helped me, I think, be a better advocate for my colleagues.
100%.
Oh.
Well, it's fascinating to get here and learn a little bit more. Where can people go to find more about you or what you're working on?
That's what you and I have to work on.
Stay tuned for more. Thanks for stopping with us, and great to see you again.
Yeah, Jake.
Yeah.
All right.